Huge uncertainty has been rocking the currency markets for quite some time, and due to the added uncertainty and volatility of stock markets, it's not surprising that investors are steering in a different direction to safeguard against global market instability. In fact, currency market, stock market, and central bank instability are contributing to severe macroeconomic volatility on a global scale, which is changing the way smart investors are diversifying their portfolios. In most cases, paper currencies are affected by the following factors: politics, war, elections, national debt, government expansion, and various other political factors affect the dollar charts. Worldwide events, changes in foreign reserves, turmoil in other countries, and the strengthening of other currencies can impact the dollar. Currency manipulation. With countries like China manipulating its currency, the US dollar could be undervalued. Millions of Americans have become uneasy about the decline of the dollar and our economic future. So what can we do to protect our hard-earned assets from this global financial crisis that is right on our doorstep? Strategists and advisors are encouraging people to invest in gold, since it has been a core of wealth during times of a dollar decline. As history has shown, the relationship between the dollar and physical precious metals is often an inverse one. In many cases, when the dollar shrinks, the price of gold appreciates. Investors should not take correlations between the two for granted, due to the fact that gold is considered a safe haven at times when the US dollar is unstable. It appears that the dollar is about to face yet another downfall, and if you look at the big picture, you'll notice that portfolio diversification is the key to protecting your financial future from the declining US dollar. In a world where the dollar regularly takes a nosedive, gold can be relied on as a shelter from failing paper investments. By diversifying your portfolio with physical assets such as gold and silver, you're positioning yourself towards securing gains in a global market downfall. When unforeseen economic catastrophes strike, the gold and silver you invested in serves as your insurance policy by typically increasing in value while all other asset classes are failing. Protect yourself today.
The fact that at one time we used to have a huge middle class, which was a sort of a security in terms of any possible conflict between the haves and the have-not. But now that's eroding and they're getting poorer. So they're starting to get angry.
What do you think the biggest danger is right now?
Civil commotion.
Silver is the biggest opportunity I have ever seen, bigger than real estate, bigger than anything else, because gold and silver is God's money. It's money made by God. And then in 1971, the U.S. government, under President Nixon, took God's money and turned it into man-made money. Never in the history of the world, this is the thing, never in the history of the world has this ever happened. In 1971, the U.S. and Nixon convinced the entire world to replace gold and silver with paper money. This stuff. Cash is trash. So the reason we have so much volatility in the world today is historically, since the time of the Romans and the Greeks and the French and the English and the Germans, every time they have taken God's money, like silver here, and replaced it with man-made money, there's been economic volatility. Now the problem is, so the dollar is going to keep dropping. So one of the reasons I can predict what's going to happen is I can predict the dollar will keep dropping simply because the U.S. government and now the euro, the European central banks, are printing so much of this trash. So there will be more this printed than ever before, which means the dollar keeps coming down and other things keep going up. And that's really what's going to happen. It's predictable. And eventually this will go to its true worth, zero. So all of you savers out there and people trying to save this trash, you're going to lose big time. To me, I've been saying this for a number of years now, silver is the biggest opportunity I have ever seen, bigger than real estate, bigger than anything else.
That all seems pretty scary. However, this is going to happen, and you can only play the hand that you're dealt. But the great news is that gold and silver always end up doing an accounting of the expansion of the currency supplies. Basically, the will of the public and the free markets When governments do this kind of stuff to their currency supply, they debase it. Eventually it comes back in inflation. People sense the loss of their purchasing power. They rush back to gold and silver, and they bid the value of the gold and silver up in the country until it meets or exceeds the value of all the currency in circulation. This is a process that's been going on over and over again throughout history, except this time it's happening on a global scale. It has never before happened in all countries at once. And that means that this is the greatest wealth transfer in history. Therefore, it's the greatest opportunity in history, and it's not going to happen again in your lifetime.